everybody. Welcome to Mercy College, Facebook Live. The topic today is financial aid, something that's on everybody's mind. And February, in case you wanted to know, is Financial Aid Awareness Month. And we are here with the woman who has the answers to the questions, our Vice President of Enrollment Services, Margaret McGrail. Thank you for doing this.
Thank you for having me.
And behind us, by the way, is the Enrollment Services area.
Correct.
And not that we want to come out of the gate bragging about things, but this is OneStop Shopping, which is not offered at every institution,
correct.
Right? Tell me about that.
Right. So our Office of Enrollment Services includes financial aid, bursar, and registrar services. So at some institutions, all of those areas are in one building or in one location on campus. But here at Mercy College, at any of our campuses, you just come to one area, you see one person, and you can take care of your financial aid questions, your billing questions, and your registration questions. You don't have to go to 3 offices, you don't get on 3 lines, you just see one person for all of that.
And that's that's not just here, that's at all our campuses,
At all of
right?
the campuses. There's an Enrollment Services office in the Bronx, Manhattan, Yorktown, as well as Dobbs Ferry.
Okay. I also want to say that we're going to be putting across the screen occasionally information about where you can go online for various things. FAFSA, TAP, reaching our financial aid offices online. So we'll start big and then we'll come down, which means we'll start with the feds and then come down to us. FAFSA, let's go right to it.
Okay.
So when's the time to get it done?
The time to get it done is now. The application process for the FAFSA actually changed in the last couple of years. It used to be available as of January 1. We're in our 2nd year now where the application process opened up as of October 1st. So students that are seniors in high school now could actually apply right now. Many institutions, including Mercy College, is already sending out their financial aid award letters to their students. So the FAFSA, for those that are not aware, it's called the Free Application for Federal Student Aid. Free being the first word, it does not cost anything. So that's very important.
To apply.
It does not cost anything to fill out the application and to submit it. There are lots of consultants out there who will charge a fee to help you fill this out. My recommendation is to go, whether it's to your guidance office in your high school or even to any institution you're interested in applying with. Any of those offices will be happy to help. Same thing here at Mercy College. If you're struggling with the FAFSA application, you think you want to attend the Dobbs Ferry campus, but the Manhattan campus is closer for you and mom and dad right now, you can actually come to our Enrollment Services office in Manhattan. It doesn't matter what campus you're interested in enrolling in, you can come to any Enrollment Services office and we can assist you with the application process.
Okay, and and we have a code. I don't know that people will remember this, but the code is 002772. If you're interested to go to Mercy, when you're filling out FAFSA, you have to put that code in, right? Which lets us know.
Right. What happens with that as you're filling out the information, the documents that you're going to need in order to complete the FAFSA application is your own taxes. If you're a dependent student, your mom and dad's taxes. If you're an independent student and you're married, then your spouse's tax information. There's also questions regarding assets, things like cash in the bank and investments. If you don't have them or you don't know what the documents are, you probably don't have them. So don't worry, not every question is going to apply to you. One of the last questions will be to indicate what schools would you like to receive your information. And that's where the code comes in. It's that 002772, and Mercy College will automatically get the application. What's very important when you're completing the application is to make sure that you've signed up for your electronic signature or your PIN, personal identification number. Both you and your parent will actually need to populate that information in order for the data to be accepted by the Department of Education.
Okay, and what I'm realizing is that on our financial aid page, we actually have a how-to video for FAFSA,
Absolutely,
right?
yes.
I think it has a familiar voice on it, actually. Mine, in case anyone's wondering. Okay, so so people do have problems with it, right? Mm-hmm. And we had somebody here a couple of years ago from the Department of Education who said, wouldn't it be nice if it were a 2-page form, subsidized and unsubsidized? Right. Why is it so complicated?
To be quite frank, it takes an act of Congress to change the application.
Okay.
You have a lot of individuals, a lot of different constituencies having an impact on this. It would be lovely if the higher education industry made up the application. There is a lot of feedback as to what information is necessary because at the end of the day, to be quite frank, there are a lot of federal dollars tied up with financial aid. And what people don't realize, the most expensive component of federal financial aid is not actually the free money, it's not the grants, it's the loans. So when we talk about subsidized student loans, it means that the student is not incurring interest while he or she is in school. It doesn't mean it's interest free. Our tax dollars are actually paying the interest. So that's actually the most expensive piece of the financial aid budget. The next piece is the federal Pell Grants. There are many, many students throughout the country that are beneficiaries of the federal Pell Grant. These are socioeconomically high-need students.
And what's the most that you can get from a Pell Grant?
The Pell Grant is approaching the $6,000 mark now. It's, believe it or not, while it has gone up incrementally the last several years, it's not fully funded. So you'll see conflicting information in the media that Pell Grants are up to $7,000, $8,000. They're not. It's not a fully funded program. It's at roughly $5,900 for the upcoming year. It has gone up incrementally the last couple of years. Students who are receiving the Pell Grant have an estimated family contribution below a certain point in order to be Pell Grant eligible. Estimated family contribution, what is that? That is basically a calculation on the information that you and your parent have completed, have submitted, when you completed the FAFSA application. You'll actually receive that calculated figure via an email around the same time that the colleges that you've listed on the application receive that information. And at Mercy College, we utilize that information to develop your comprehensive financial aid package, which can include grants, scholarships, work study, from varying sources, the federal government, the state government, as well as Mercy College.
And just because that's a fabulous segue, you see this? This is your personalized financial aid package. This is what comes from your office, your team.
Correct.
And they're going out now, right? They're going out. If you've applied to Mercy, you'll get this in the mail. It's actually amazing in its thoroughness. There's like it's a trifold here, and there's a ton of information, types of grants, types of Mercy assistance, employment opportunities, types of loans, how you finalize various things. So anyway, this is what it looks like. You'll be getting it in the mail if you've applied to Mercy College. So just a couple other things. If you get something wrong on FAFSA, are you in trouble? Like if you, have you committed a crime?
No. Many people make mistakes. The most common mistake, believe it or not, is if mom and dad are helping fill out the form, they start to put down their own information in the students column. Another very common mistake is they take their adjusted gross income and put that in the taxes paid. So because it's line item number 7, let's say, on your taxes for taxes paid, and it's line item number 6 on the FAFSA. So there's lots of ways where people unintentionally transpose where the information goes, whether they're putting their own information instead of the child, they're putting the amount of adjusted gross income in the taxes paid column. What happens when you file the FAFSA, the Department of Education will randomly select roughly 30% of all applicants for a process called verification. They also put verification responsibilities on the school. So if the institution sees a common error on an application, they're required by law to also request verification information. It doesn't mean you've done anything wrong. Even those who have completed the application process 100% accurately could potentially be selected for verification. You just need to complete the verification form that is sent to you, submit copies of your taxes to the institution, and they'll go through. If there are any corrections to be made, the college will actually send them to the Department of Education on your behalf.
Okay.
It doesn't require the student or the parent to do anything.
All right. And by the way, we're taking your questions. So if you have any questions about any of this, let me just say, bring it on. We'll answer them. But one other thing, what if you're a student who, for whatever reasons, isn't able to get that kind of information from, say, parents? Maybe you're an emancipated minor, or, I mean, there could be lots of reasons why you might need information and you actually can't get it.
There are lots of situations that occur. So, and for those types of very individual situations, the best thing to do is to actually contact the institution that you're planning on attending.
Okay.
But broad-based for students that are truly, they're either an orphan or a ward of the court, there are actually processes to follow in the application process for individuals that fall into that particular situation. There are some students who fall into that situation, but they weren't classified as such. Mom and dad passed away, and a neighbor has taken them in, an aunt has taken them in. They have not adopted them, they're just providing them shelter. Those types of situations are all very individualistic, and it really does depend on your own personal situation. So the best thing to do is to go into your school and work with that office. There are some students who mom and dad are holding on to their information because they're afraid of what's going to happen to it. And so it's not that they really don't want to help Johnny Jr.
Right.
They're just nervous about their personal information. So again, in that situation, I would recommend going to the financial aid office. Look at their setup. There are lots of requirements and restrictions put on institutions on how to handle this information. Some as strict and in some families' opinion ridiculous as, once you've given me your taxes, I can't actually give them back to you. So it's important not to give me your original. Like, there are absolute restrictions on how we're allowed to handle and use the information. But I think the best way to do that is to actually go to the financial aid office. I had that same experience with my parents. They're immigrants. They didn't trust banks. I can just tell you the stories about what went on there.
I'm sure a lot of
not trusting
our
banks.
students can relate.
Right. So, you know, so immigrant families are very often families that are not trusting where their information is going. Just based on personal experience, they're in a country that's new to them. What does this mean? Why do you want this information? So the best thing I can say is go meet with the financial aid office at the various institutions, sit with them, explain what your concerns are, and have them review with you how it's handled.
And if you do something wrong and you're subject to this verification process, is that going to hurt your chance to get it? In other words, because it takes some extra time, right?
It does take extra time. At Mercy College, unless we see a glaring error on the application, we'll generate the estimated financial aid package based on the FAFSA that's supplied, even if you were selected for verification. We're not requesting that information unless you then decide to enroll at the college. So we're trying to minimize the amount of paper burden, if you will, but that is unique to every institution. There are some institutions that will only do financial aid upon completion of verification.
Okay, and again, we're going to come back to this, but so Mercy really goes the extra mile for students trying to plow through this process, right? I mean, there's the OneStop Shopping. I mean, we really do try to take into account all the complexities and the things that are bound to go wrong, and we work with our students on this, right?
Absolutely. We serve a predominantly first-generation college-bound population. We serve a minority. We're classified as a minority-serving institution. We're a designated Hispanic-serving institution. Many of the staff that are actually assisting the students are first-generation or immigrant themselves, so there's truly an understanding of what our students are going through and experiencing. So my best recommendation is to come to the office, but that's not always possible for everyone.
Right.
So we are available via phone. We're also available via email. We have evening hours. Monday through Thursday, we're here till 7. We do that because we know many of our parents or many of our students themselves are working during the day. It means taking a day off, and taking a day off sometimes means not getting paid that day.
Yeah,
so we're here in the evenings as well so that we can accommodate that. We're also here 2 Saturdays a month to also accommodate that for our students.
And all that information is on our website too,
Correct.
like the hours,
that's correct.
enrollment services and all that. Okay, so for New Yorkers, TAP.
Okay, so the TAP application process starts with the FAFSA application.
Okay.
So what has to happen is you actually start with the FAFSA application. You are a New York State resident and you've indicated a New York school, not necessarily a SUNY or a CUNY, but any institution within the state of New York. So because you've now put Mercy College code 002772 on the FAFSA application, your information will also be sent to New York State by the Federal Department of Education. New York State will then generate what's called an e-TAP or an electronic TAP application. You'll receive an email that it's ready. All you need to do is verify that they've connected your information correctly, and that also requires an e-signature from the student and the parent.
And are you supplying that same information all over again to New York State?
No, they're pulling the majority of the information from the FAFSA application, and then they're linking up basically to your New York State taxable information. They're just having you go out there and look to see, yes, it's there, and that this is my information, and then you're electronically signing that you've reviewed this information. Now, if you have not filed an income tax information or they're not matching you up correctly, you would then have to populate your New York information.
Okay. What's the biggest mistake you see people make when they're going through this process between FAFSA and TAP?
Right. The most common mistakes in terms of the FAFSA, again, is mom and dad putting their information down in the student's information.
Right.
One person putting in the electronic PIN and then the other one not. Because unless both signatures are in there, it's not going to calculate. And another common mistake is forgetting to hit submit, that you're done. That you reviewed the information and you're done. Yeah.
Right.
Because students will be like, I did it, and then when they come in and we're like, well, we don't have it, and then when we come in and sit with them and they log on here, they're like, well, there's everything. But yes, we didn't get it because you still have to submit. You need to acknowledge, put your PIN in, and submit. For the TAP application, the most common issue there has more to do with actually going in to complete the e-TAP application, that there is another step that you need to actually complete in order for the TAP application.
Right.
We do spend a lot of time doing outreach to students related to the TAP because I think they're done.
And once you get a PIN, I'm just remembering this from the video we put together, that PIN is yours all through college, right? You're not getting a new PIN next year?
It's all through college, and believe it or not, we have parents that are getting their graduate degree while their son or daughter is getting their undergraduate degree. That same PIN mom and dad are using to sign for the parent on the FAFSA application, and they're also using it to submit their own FAFSA application. So it's, if you can remember it, it's yours all the way through to when you become a parent.
Okay. Dates. Is there a cutoff for any of this stuff?
Technically, yes. However, any institution will tell you not to really adhere to what the federal and state are offering you,
right?
Because it's so far late. What do I mean by that? For the current academic year that we're in, for example, many students are relying on their financial aid not just to cover their balances at the institution, but they need refunds on the federal loans to help cover living expenses. But meanwhile, you can apply up to May 1st. Well, guess what? The academic year is almost over by May 1st. So what you really want to pay attention to is what are the deadlines published by the institutions that you're applying to. So for example, our priority deadline is February 17th. That doesn't mean, or February 15th, excuse me. That doesn't mean if you applied after yesterday, you're not going to. Is that yesterday? Yes. It doesn't mean if you apply after yesterday, you're not going to get anything, but we put a priority on those that file by that day. And we work with you and get your information out. We are rolling admissions, so we also do rolling financial aid. Oh, all right. And can you just distinguish, this is something that's, can you distinguish between things you're going to owe money for and things you're not going to owe money for, just in a big way? So there are various sources of aid that I covered before, which is basically the federal government, the state government, as well as the various institutions. There are various types of aid. So that's the most important way to look at that. What's free money, what's not free money? Right. So the free money would be grants and scholarships. The not free money are student loans. Even the subsidized ones are not free money because you do eventually have to pay them back. And then work study. For work study positions, you have to actually do some work to get that money. So that's not free money either. Okay. So in terms of grants and scholarships, there are, in addition to the institution that you're applying to, there are also grants and scholarships for varying foundations, local communities. For example, the local Kiwanis, Rotary Club, things like that often have scholarship opportunities and grant opportunities for institutions, for students, excuse me, to attend institutions. The loans, that's money that you have to pay back, but what's important there are two different types of loans. It's the same loan program, but for one loan, it's subsidized, meaning you're not responsible for the interest while you're in school. And there are unsubsidized. Those loans, you are actually responsible for the interest while you're enrolled in school. And is that income-based? Some of them are. So for example, the subsidized loans, you must show need, financial need, in order to get a subsidized loan. However, a dependent student can also receive an additional unsubsidized loan on top of that. So for example, a freshman is eligible for up to $3,500 in a subsidized loan if he or she has need, and then an additional $2,000 in an unsubsidized loan if they need additional funds to cover their expenses. My recommendation is to meet with your enrollment services counselor to see what dollar amount you need. Even though you're eligible up to $3,500, you may not need the full $3,500.
Okay.
So,
and those student loans, you can't discharge.
It's just a little over $18,000. For many private institutions, that's just one semester. That is actually our full fall, spring tuition and fees for an undergraduate student.
And we should mention that is one of the lowest private tuitions, certainly in New York State.
Right. And it is a conscious effort of the Board of Trustees, of the senior staff, right down to faculty and administrators and support staff. We're always, as a unit, looking at what our costs are. Are we being economical with our spending? It really is an institutionalized belief to keep the cost as
right.
at a
And
minimum.
our mission is to make a college education attainable and affordable.
Right.
Accessible and affordable, and has been for almost 70 years now. Wow. Since
yes,
we
almost
started,
70
right?
years. That's
Almost
right.
70 years.
Yes, yeah.
But I mean that we work very hard at that.
Right, and we have academic scholarships. So from an undergraduate perspective, any student that applies to the college is automatically reviewed for an academic scholarship. There is no special application for an academic scholarship. We're a Division II athletics institution,
right.
So there are athletic scholarships as well. And then in addition to that, there are need-based grants that we offer to our students. Again, the need-based grants are based on the FAFSA application. The academic scholarships are based on your performance in high school, or if you're a transfer student, your performance at your prior institution. And your comprehensive financial aid package will include things like institutional money from Mercy, the federal money if you're eligible, state money if you're eligible, loans and work study, and classified however you're eligible.
You know, this is so information heavy. I just want to say we're going to have this conversation available afterward for people to go back and look at it, because this is a lot to take in. It's a lot. I'm like, whoa. So let's just talk a minute about the world we're living in today. Mm-hmm. Is there anything new concerning that immigrants should understand about applying for federal, state, or Mercy help?
Right. So from the institutional perspective, and this is very institution specific, if you're a documented immigrant, meaning you're a green card holder, or if you're here under a special types of visas, you are generally eligible for different types of financial aid. If you are an undocumented student, you're generally not eligible for federal and student aid. For Mercy specific scholarships, we do honor if you have graduated from basically a U.S. institution, your academic and athletic scholarships are still honored. So from
you have
that
to get your
perspective,
transcript together on that,
absolutely,
right?
You would still need to be submitting your transcripts. You'd need to be, a regular admit to the college. We don't look at your status in terms of your admission eligibility to the college.
Right.
We look at your prior academic performance.
Right. Okay. Right. All right. Everyone is talking this year about the Excelsior Scholarship,
yes,
which just went into effect here in New York, and it allows students whose parents make, I think it's up to, is it 110, 125?
It has graduated steps, so it actually began last year and it was 110,000. This year I believe it's 115, and then next year it'll be 125.
And allows them to go to any state school for free.
Right. The way it works, however, it's not really that you're going to school for free. It's applying federal and state aid first, and whatever the balance left will be covered by the Excelsior Scholarship.
Okay.
So it's covering your SUNY and CUNY tuition at that amount.
I see. Mm-hmm. But our message, as I understand it, is you do not have to go to a public institution in New York, a SUNY or a CUNY, to have your tuition fully funded.
Correct.
Mercy now offers its own version of the Excelsior called Aspire.
Right, the Mercy New York Aspire Award. So to be eligible for the New York Aspire Award, we're using some of the same criteria that the Excelsior Scholarship is requiring. For example, you need to be a New York State resident, you need to complete the FAFSA application, you need to maintain positive academic standing for renewal each year. But there are no restrictions to this award as there are with the Excelsior Award. Maybe restrictions is not the right word. There are no conditions upon graduation. So with the Excelsior Award, you're required to remain in New York State.
In New York State, right? Yeah.
Right, and you're required to work within New York as well. Otherwise, it actually converts to a loan program, and you have to actually pay that back. Our Aspire Scholarship is truly that. It's a scholarship for our students as long as they maintain full-time enrollment, refile the FAFSA application each year, and maintain positive academic standing. The scholarship will automatically be renewed.
And that also covers incomes of roughly that same
we're
amount
using
the
the same
Excelsior?
Exactly. We're using the same income brackets as Excelsior. And it's in combination as well, just to be perfectly transparent. It's in combination with your New York State TAP Award, your federal Pell Grant, your other Mercy Assistance Grant, and then the New York Aspire Scholarship is layered on top of that. It's a $1,500 per year scholarship for students that fall into that bracket.
Okay. And again, this is across the college, across the campuses?
Yes.
Is it graduate and undergraduate?
Just undergraduate.
Just
undergraduate. And the Excelsior
okay.
program is also just an undergraduate program.
Right. That's what I thought. Okay. We have other scholarships.
Yes.
We have the Mercy College Unstoppable Scholarship.
Correct. So the Unstoppable Scholarship is a financial aid award to serve the neediest of the high need students, if you will. So the students that are enrolling at the Bronx, Manhattan, or Yorktown campuses that are basically your highest need students, they're getting full TAP and full Pell. Our financial aid package will already cover everything up to almost $1,000. For those students enrolling at those campuses, we're also awarding what's called the Unstoppable Scholarship, and it's a $1,500 scholarship, so it's going to close that $1,000 gap. So it'll actually cover their full tuition and some of their fees. It may not cover all of their fees, but it'll cover some of the fees.
Okay, all right. And again, I want to encourage you, if you have questions, bring them on. I'm not seeing, we don't have questions yet. Okay, fine. Which is good because I have a ton more questions, actually. So what about the other ways that Mercy helps students fund college, like the scholarships and grants and so forth?
All right, so the largest grant program, if you will, is called our Mercy Assistance Grant. So any student that is demonstrating financial need will be packaged with the Mercy Assistance Grant. We also have what we call private and restricted scholarships. Those are scholarships that are funded through donors that believe in the Mercy College mission, believe in what our students can do, and believe in the transformative effect a Mercy College education can have on that individual student and on their family. So those types of scholarships have a separate application process and are available to students after they start at Mercy College. There's also a scholarship program called Mercy Scholars, where a group of donors have gotten together and they're funding the students after, let's say, the TAP, the Pell, and the Mercy Assistance Grant. They're actually funding the remainder of their balance for their tuition and their fees and their books.
So that literally, for those students who have that demonstrated need, is the Mercy Scholars Program is the difference between going and not going,
for
right?
Some families, absolutely, because there are situations where even though you're a commuting student, the bus ticket becomes an obstacle in getting to class. So this particular program is actually funding their commuting expenses as well as the books, because books nowadays are, they're very expensive, especially if you're in a science program or in certain business programs. The books become increasingly expensive.
I can't believe how much textbooks cost.
Yes.
Just I got my master's not that long ago and I was outraged. I was. You should bring what through the door with you? Like if you're coming in here and you want to talk about all this stuff, what kind of paperwork do you have to have with you?
I would say minimally, if you haven't started the application process yet, you would want to have a copy of yours and your parents' taxes, or yours and your spouse's taxes with you. A copy of your most recent bank statement. Those would be the materials you definitely would want to start with. If possible, have your PIN created before you come, you would do that on the same website that you actually do the FAFSA application, but have your PIN created before you come, because then the Enrollment Services team can actually walk you right through the application process and you can submit for here.
Okay, because they can see it, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, they can log on. We actually have cubicles where we can set people up to completely do it from start to finish.
Right, okay. Is it better to, I mean, you sort of mentioned this, is it better to come first or call first? It's better to do it online first, I guess, right?
It depends on every individual family. Some families like to start the FAFSA application, get through it as much as they can, and then they'll come in and say, okay, I got stuck here.
Right.
It really depends on the comfort level. Others want to talk to somebody on the phone to make sure that they're bringing every last thing with them that they need to bring. It's kind of a comfort level for them to have a checklist before they arrive. Others will actually walk in the door, sit down, and say, I have no idea where I need to start. So it's really whatever the family feels most comfortable with, but if generally speaking, if you haven't started the application process yet, a copy of your taxes, a copy of your most recent bank statements, and we can help you get going from there.
Okay, we can help you start.
Yes.
From nothing.
From nothing.
If it's confusing and you want to just come in and have somebody walk you through the process.
Right. And just like the folder where it helps you work out a budget once you get the financial aid package, we've got checklists and things that we'll give to you to take with you for when you come back.
Okay.
Or for next steps of what you need to do when you go home.
What do you get asked about the most in terms of financial aid and also like special considerations, people's individual circumstances?
The most common question is, should I even apply because my neighbor told me I shouldn't? Or should I even apply because my brother-in-law said I shouldn't? The answer is absolutely apply. Everybody's circumstance is very different, and your financial aid package here at Mercy College is a very individualized financial aid package. So you don't know if you don't apply. So the most common thing is you don't listen to your neighbor when you bought a house. You didn't listen to your neighbor when you were finding your apartment. You might have looked at the neighborhood to see where you wanted to live, but so you need to trust your own instincts and your own information in determining what's right for you and your family.
Okay.
In terms of special circumstances, we hit a little bit on that earlier for individuals who they might have a unique living situation. They're not living with mom and dad, or they're not living with a spouse. There are other situations, for example, where mom and dad might have lost a job.
Right.
Or somebody has become ill and they didn't have health insurance, so it's really had an enormous impact on resources. Those types of things are all very, very individual, and they're also individual in how an institution handles them. So there are colleges who make a decision that we don't take any of those considerations into effect, and by law they're allowed to say that. And there are other institutions that do. We are somebody that will sit with you, look at you, and say, okay, within the confines of what we're permitted to do, here's what we're going to need you to submit, and here's how we can work with you. So I would definitely say for any of those types of individual situations, the best thing to do is contact your Enrollment Services staff member, and they'll get the ball rolling on what the next steps are.
Okay, so our default position is not don't want to hear about it, but rather come, review it with us. We'll try to get you through it, and we'll try to make it possible for you to go to college.
Absolutely. And we often hear about some of these situations even from the PAC mentors, because our PAC mentors are very involved with their students, and sometimes they'll actually disclose information to them on, oh, my dad just lost a job, or my mom just got such and such diagnosis, or my grandma is now living with us. They then will be in touch with the Enrollment Services counselor on that student's behalf and get the ball rolling that way, and then our team will reach out. So it really is a community effort here at Mercy to assist the students.
So what's the Enrollment Services and PACT? How do they work together to, I mean, is it a handoff? You get them initially and then you hand them off?
It's a combination. It really depends on the student. Some students, basically both the PACT team and the Enrollment Service team have caseloads, if you will. So,
and they all know about financial aid.
And they all know about financial aid, right. There's definitely cross-training with the PACT team. So the PACT team can definitely answer general questions for their individual students. But when you're getting into the nitty-gritty, they're definitely going to bring the Enrollment Services staff member into it.
Okay.
There are some students who like just talking strictly academics with their PACT mentor and deal with all their financial stuff here. They like that separation. That's okay too. So it really is what's in the best interest of the student, what makes the student more comfortable. So there's a team approach for some, there's a very individual approach for others. It's really driven by what the student desires.
Any other tips you mentioned a couple. You mentioned some common mistakes. Come on through. Just there's people who are going to the enrollment services. By the way, you're going to see a little action back and forth. Any other tips, either for things to do right, maybe, or things to do wrong, or I mean, to avoid doing wrong?
One of the most common questions I get is for additional outside resources, additional outside funds. What can I do to get more money? New York State's given me this, Mercy's given me that. That's all great, but I need a little bit more than what I'm getting. There are, like I said earlier, lots of foundations and organizations out there that'll help you. They're never going to charge you a fee if they want to offer scholarship money. So the one thing that really kind of gets to me or is really upsetting to me is when a family will tell me, oh, I applied for these 5 scholarships and I spent $1,000 and I got nothing. Any organization
is that legal to do that?
I don't know. Any I'll editorialize elsewhere. Any organization that's truly looking to give funds to assist with an education is not going to charge you. So that's the most common thing. So, you know, for example, the Coca-Cola Foundation has a lot of resources for first-generation students. There is no application fee. Your local Kiwanis is not going to charge you an application fee. These big foundations, there's a Robinson Broadhurst Foundation, they're not going to charge you to apply for their scholarships.
And so all of those, is there one central clearinghouse that you can find online that will just tell you about all of those things in your area? Or maybe they don't even have to be in your area, right?
Well, you're, generally speaking, the ones in your area or high school is often very familiar with. The ones that are truly in your area.
Like the guidance counselors.
Like the guidance counselors.
Okay.
We do have links on our website of reputable organizations that actually pull information from various areas regarding the scholarships. But I don't want to imply that it's at all comprehensive.
Yeah, it's not exhaustive.
Right, yeah. And in order to be included there, we do a lot of vetting ourselves. So, you know, if it's very, very specific and we don't think any of our students would actually be eligible, we're not necessarily putting it on there. But the best rule of thumb is, to be quite frank, I've said this to people in the past and they've come back with, oh my God, I got this much money. Whatever's unique, you can do Google searches. So you know what I mean?
Okay.
If you're you know, if you're a single Indian mother over a certain age, put that in and see what comes up. You know what I mean? What makes you unique? Are you a first generation? You know what I mean? Are you American Indian? Even if you're only trace American Indian in you, you're eligible for something.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? Because
so you should try, essentially.
Right.
Take the shot if you might meet one of those requirements. And
right. With work comes reward. Over the course of my career, I actually have one student who took this as probably the most full-time job I've ever seen a student do, and she actually made herself aware of and then eligible for more scholarships than she was actually permitted to accept. Because at the end of the day, you're not able to receive funding greater than your costs of education. Right. And God bless her, she then went and got back in touch with some of these organizations and said, I have a friend on campus who meets the same criteria, can she get it? Seriously? Yeah, and she did an amazing amount of work. She is now in the financial aid industry. It took a little bit of convincing, but I actually got her. She was amazing at it. So there is money out there, but it does require work beyond your traditional federal and state funds and what your institution puts out there. Right. So how long have you been at Mercy? Almost, it'll be 11 years this May. And you've been doing this, right? Yes. The whole time? Yes. Is it gratifying? Is it yes, you know? I would say so. It's definitely something that I find a lot of satisfaction for. I find I'm serving the students that I was myself. Mm-hmm. You know, my mom and dad didn't go to college. Didn't picture any of their children going to college. Right. I'm one of 12. All 12 of us went. Wow. Half of us have master's degrees. One is partway through a PD program. So, you know, it's something that I see a lot of, grew up with, and it's a way to give back for the people that did it for me. Yes. And by the way, you hear that a lot here at Mercy in terms of, the people who work here often have walked in your shoes if you are looking for that kind of help. And so I think that's a good thing for us. Again, if you have any questions, so Margaret has very generously offered to share her email here at Mercy. Mm-hmm. If anybody has any questions,
beyond this, and if you have had trouble following this unbelievable download of information about Mercy and TAP and the federal government, and it's McGrail.
Correct. So 2 M's, MMCGRAIL @mercy.edu.
Okay, and I think we can float that across the screen. And also, we want to show you the place online where you can go for Mercy's financial aid. So we have that too to show everybody, right? We can put that. Okay, I'm like, it's like mercy.edu/financial-aid, something like that. You'll see it. I'm not getting it right. It's close. And we have that how-to on FAFSA, and
we have an accepted students event coming the last Saturday of the month where we'll be doing a financial aid presentation, and we'll have staff available as well.
Okay. And again, this is what will be coming to you in the mail. If you've applied to Mercy and been accepted, it will be your financial aid package. So we have a question. How do you find out if you filled out FAFSA or TAP or whatever online? How do you find out if you did it correctly?
Okay, well, just the first thing you want to know is to confirm that you've submitted it. You should get an email back from FAFSA indicating that they've received your application and there's an estimated family contribution that's been calculated. If you filled it out a while ago and you haven't heard anything yet, I would reach out to the various financial aid offices at whatever school that you're applying to.
Okay.
Most institutions are doing rolling offers at this point in time. Most institutions are sending out the award notifications for their incoming class. So I would check with the various offices to see where you are. And then inquire. Say, okay, if you thought you were going to be TAP and Pell eligible and you're not, just verify with them, okay, well, here's what my information is. Can you explain how my financial aid application was put together?
Okay, and you can do that at the schools you're interested in.
Absolutely.
Like you can come to Mercy and they can find out that information.
Absolutely.
Even if you think it's sort of complicated for you to find it out online, right?
Correct.
And it doesn't matter. I think it probably bears repeating. If there's a delay, if you didn't fill it out correctly through some sort of mistake or omission and not, because you're hiding something, it doesn't compromise your ability to get the award. Is that right?
Correct. If you're requested for verification information, just submit that information and the college will review everything, and if corrections need to be made, they'll make that on your behalf. It is possible you would get a revised financial award letter based on those corrections. It's also possible the corrections are immaterial and the package that you received initially is correct as it is. But I would definitely, the best way is to review your information with your enrollment services counselor.
And how do you know if you're going to be one of the 30% who just get, I'm assuming it's randomly subject to verification by the federal government?
Right. When you receive that email information from FAFSA saying that your FAFSA has been processed and your estimated family contribution is ABC, it'll actually indicate on there whether you were selected for verification or not.
Right off the...
It'll say it right in that email. The institution that you're planning on attending will also be in touch. Colleges are proactive in reaching out to collect the information.
Okay.
But again, now if you're an incoming freshman or an incoming transfer student, Mercy College isn't going to ask for that information from you unless you've decided to enroll here. Other institutions might request that information before they even package you, whether you're going to enroll or not. Every institution is very different.
Okay.
So if it has said that for you on your email that you're selected for verification and you haven't gotten a request from us yet, don't worry. We're waiting to see, are you going to enroll? And if you are, then we're going to request that information.
If you're applying, is it generally true that if you're applying for the maximum amount of federal aid, they're going to verify it?
Not necessarily.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Just curious.
And our packaging philosophy, if you will, is to package you with the maximum number of resources at the maximum amount that you're eligible for. So I'll bring that back to the loan question. So you're eligible for varying amounts of a Stafford loan or a direct loan based on your year in school. We'll notify you what your maximum eligibility is. That doesn't mean you have to take it. You could see 5,000 on your award letter, but you only need 3. We encourage you to only take the 3.
Okay.
You might see 3,500 on your award letter, and this year you don't need any. you don't have to accept it. That's not a problem.
Okay, okay. And again, I was starting to hold this up. This is going to be coming to you. February, by the way, for all of you who would like to know this, is Financial Aid Awareness Month. Margaret was saying it really ought to be October. Somehow it's February. I don't know why. It doesn't really, it's just, does that mean anything other than, like, is anyone doing anything for that?
Well, there are, the New York State Financial Aid Administrators Association actually does workshops throughout the state to help people who, if they haven't applied yet, to apply. Some of the local high schools will actually run financial aid awareness nights. So there are activities throughout the state that actually recognize it and put on various functions of financial literacy.
I didn't ask you this before, but is there any difference if you're a freshman or a sophomore or a junior or a senior in what you have to do in this whole process?
No, the most important thing is you do, under the current setup, you do need to reapply every year.
Okay.
So you would still complete the FAFSA application each year. You will get an email when that's been accepted. You would then need to also recomplete the e-TAP, the electronic TAP application, when you get that email each year. It is important to maintain your grades because you do need to be making what's called satisfactory academic progress to be eligible for renewed aid.
Okay. Is that something, can we know what that is? Is that a number that
Sure,
like 3.0 or
it varies.
2.5 or I don't know.
It varies. So, for example, your academic scholarships may have a very specific minimum GPA requirement that's higher than the minimum standard. But for undergraduate, as long as you have above a 2.0 and have completed a minimum of 67% of your coursework each year, then you should be okay.
Okay. How does, there's a good question, by the way. Can you talk about that a little bit? How does the current political climate affect financial aid, if it does?
We are actually in what's called a year of reauthorization, meaning that Congress is looking at federal financial aid funding for the budget overall in terms of the federal budget. So there are constantly conversations on, are we going to fund Pell? Are we going to do something different? Are the Stafford loans at the right amount? Right now, there's not a lot of traction on the federal landscape in terms of what could potentially change, but that doesn't mean that won't change in 6 weeks. It's one of those things where I would just pay close attention to it, and when I said earlier it takes an act of Congress to change the elements of the FAFSA application, it's very true. It takes an act of Congress to do it. There was a financial advocacy day up in Albany from the state perspective, actually just this week, where we had students up in Albany advocating to ensure that the New York State budget is going to honor the funding for our students going forward, because right now from the state perspective, under Cuomo's budget, the Higher Education Opportunity Program is at risk of being reduced a little bit. Bundy funding is at risk of being reduced a little bit. So it's not just staying in touch with your U.S. congressmen and congresswomen, it's also being in touch with your state legislators as well.
I think I sent something electronically to all my elected representatives yesterday about Bundy, right?
Yes, absolutely. If you've clicked on that link that we pushed out for everybody, you definitely did.
Okay.
So it's important, because while we make jokes about an act of Congress or what's going on, the New York budget is under very active review right now, trying to reconcile what the state legislature is looking for versus what Cuomo is looking for from the governor's office. So you definitely want to be paying attention from the state perspective as well as the national perspective.
And if they change it, does that mean boom, it's changed, or doesn't it happen like maybe a year from now? Or I mean, is it? It can
be it can be boom, or it can be graced in. So, for example, the Excelsior program that started last year was a boom example. And then another example of where something is gradually phased in, or the federal loan program several years ago, when we transitioned from, the private sector managing the loans to it being managed within the federal student aid budget specifically.
Right.
That was something that occurred over the period of a couple of years. So it can be one or the other.
And again, so New York State has this Excelsior Scholarship, which is designed to impact students whose parents have particular salary thresholds, both
Right.
low and high, and Mercy has that same thing for us, a private institution. It's called
Right.
Mercy Aspire.
Correct.
And it gives students the very same opportunities to go to college
Right.
that the state does.
Right.
Right?
Mhm.
Okay. Just want to make sure that's clear. Any other questions, by the way? Wait, we have another question. We
Okay,
have another
no
question.
problem.
You're just like a rock star in this area. It's just like, wow. For fall 2018, what's the deadline?
Apply now. I would not say wait till that May, because remember, for the fall 18, spring 19 academic year, the federal and state applications are May 1, 2019, but your academic year is almost over. And meanwhile, you need to be paying your tuition and your fees before that. You need to be paying your living expenses before that. So if you're in the application process right now, I would start the FAFSA application right now.
Now, we're rolling admissions, but that doesn't mean FAFSA and TAP roll as well, right? I
right.
just want to distinguish.
Correct, rolling admission, but that does mean that we will still put together a financial aid package for you upon acceptance. But you can actually start the FAFSA application before you've been accepted to a college. You don't need to wait to be accepted to a college to start the financial aid process. You can actually do them in tandem. If you've already filled out the FAFSA and you're just thinking about Mercy College now, you can go out there and just add Mercy College's code to the application,
Okay.
and it will push the information to us.
Okay, okay. So what did I not ask you, by the way?
Well, you asked a lot. I'm not
Anything? Any other questions? Thanks for good questions, by the way. This is great. This is great. Anything I forgot?
Not off the top of my
Okay.
head. Yeah.
All right. So she's here.
Yes.
They're all there behind me.
And we're at
People are at all our
campuses.
campuses,
Yep.
and the hours are online. And it's February is National Financial Aid Month. This will come to you in the mail if
Coming
you have
soon.
applied to Mercy. And yeah, so we encourage you, call, go online, come in the door. This college makes it a priority to proactively help you go to college. I think that cannot be said often enough.
I would agree.
Right?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Thanks.
Thank you.
Yay. All right. So that's it. We'll say goodbye, and we're gonna put this up though. So if you couldn't take notes on all of this, we're gonna make it available again. And if you have any more questions, give us a holler. All right. Thanks so much for Margaret McGrail and me, Edie Magnus. Have a great weekend.